Hi, my name is Chris Young, and I'm going to show you how to calibrate a radio control such as this RadioMaster CC2500 as a Windows USB game controller. We're going to later use this as part of a flight simulator, so we can use the actual radio transmitter that we plan to fly with as a game controller. Give us some experience before we take the plane out for real. I'm making this video because it took me a long time to figure out how to do this. There were no videos like what I needed, so I'm hoping this helps the next person. Before you get started, put all of your joysticks in the center and make sure that the trim tabs are all centered. Next, we click on the Start menu and type Set Up USB Game Controller. As I type it in, you can see I've done this before, so it comes up pretty quickly. Once we do that, when we click on that, a pop-up appears showing us other game controllers. Now we're going to plug in the USB cable to the top of the radio. On the radio screen, you have a number of options: USB joystick, USB storage, and USB serial. We want USB joystick. Use the menu wheel on the lower right to select USB joystick. It's already selected, and we click. If we look at the game controller pop-up, now it says RadioMaster Pocket Joystick. We select that, click on Properties. A new pop-up comes up. We'll drag it up here where we can see it. Now we're going to click on the Settings tab. We're going to reset defaults and then calibrate. A new pop-up comes. This is the wizard. Now we're going to click on Next. Here's where I got in trouble. It says leave the D-pad centered, then press a button on the controller. Well, this isn't a regular game controller. I don't know what the D-pad is. Is it the right joystick? Is it the left joystick? There's 13 buttons on this thing. Which button do I press? I put the joysticks in the middle and tried pressing a button, and that messed me up. I got some advice from a guy on Facebook who said he once calibrated a controller that didn't have any buttons. It was just an analog joystick. He said, try doing it without pressing any buttons on the controller. So that's what I did. I click on Next. Now we move the right joystick to the four corners and watch the X on the screen. Go upper left, lower right. Now we're going to go up and down just to make sure. And left and right just to make sure. It seems to work. I click on Next. Again, the wizard says leave the D-pad centered and press the button on the controller. We're not going to press a button on the controller because that got us messed up again. Now it's asking for Z-axis. After trial and error, I figured out that was the throttle. Go up and down on the throttle. Click Next, and now it wants X rotation. And we move the left joystick left and right. Now it's asking for Y rotation. But let's see what we've got left to look at. In the upper left corner, we have switch A, which is the self-locking switch. Switch B, which is the position switch. On the upper right, switch C is the position switch. Switch D is the self-locking switch. On the back side, we have pot 1, which is the thumb wheel, in the upper left. And on the upper right, we have the SE momentary switch. So that pot is our only candidate for another analog input. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to move the Y rotation. If I click Next, it doesn't seem to affect the Z rotation. If I click Next, it doesn't affect the dial. And if I click Next, it doesn't affect the slider. It's quite possible I was doing something wrong with the dial, and you should be able to calibrate it But I didn't need an extra analog input for my application, so I never bothered figuring out how to do that. Sorry. Click on Next for the last time, and we're done. Now let's test. Up and down on the throttle is Z-axis. Left and right is X rotation. The right joystick moves the crosshairs on the left side. And that's it. We never did figure out how to map the buttons or the other wheel, but like I said, I didn't need those. Click on OK, and we're done. Here's a summary of our results. In the next video, we'll show you how to remap these controllers to the proper settings for the simulator.